Huh?
Chilly out.
Are you guys okay?
Yeah,
Yeah,
just a
we're
little
okay.
chilly.
How are you doing, Ivan?
I'm sorry, it's been kind of awkward with you guys showing up so many times.
I'm sorry.
And it just rained recently.
Yeah.
It's cold out, but
We won't be long. We just want to see how you're doing.
I don't know what you guys have been here originally from, like who was the request being made from, because I tried to contact Adult Protective Services a whole bunch of times for the last few it is cold.
Yeah, it is.
You guys have been putting up with a lot. And have you guys have been both here like 5 times? And then basically I've been causing horrible issues with communication, I guess, because with the police, they're the ones that they say call 911, right? For the
Emergency.
well, it's the cases with little kids getting molested when you're a little kid. So do you guys, are you both from Albuquerque, New Mexico?
Yeah, but we're not doing little cases.
Right, because what I contacted any authorities for was supposed to get those resources and those services. But it was being humiliated for 5 years, getting set up on my dad being all this interest to quit his job as a cab driver, and now that car, it's the same make and model, because the blue car that was broken over there, you guys didn't even like jump out your flash phone smartphones and take like, this is the picture of the location on the report, and then you get to file that at your offices or whatever your mode of having to work with the paperwork and stuff like that. My mom worked for the human on Edith and Mountain. There's another block away that it's the main post office. That's where my grandpa's grandma used to live. But my mom, she worked up at that office there, the Department of Labor, Human Rights Department.
Yeah.
So my sister was driving or just getting her license, and basically the need to borrow the car because she could drive and do like, when you go to the grocery store, like Furs had like the little card and you can get the money out of the ATM, right? So she gives us those types of responsibilities or whatever. So my older sister, she's doing like that kind of stuff like normal. High school's getting whatever, we're at El Dorado. Like, did you guys get to go to high schools here? Or my dad went to some kind of like parochial and secular. So like somewhere downtown, a lot of stuff. He was born in California, but they moved back here and got this plot of land and built the first segment. The second is this block. So the first block is the front, and then they added the step where the step went in. It's this hardened spot that goes up into the kitchen.
So where did you go to school? Where'd you go to high school?
When my dad, so it's a weird dynamic because he would drop us off here when like the courts were like, oh, we're gonna fight. My mom was here with Monique and pregnant, and she smoked because they didn't care about smoking babies back then. And they met at Annick Caseman up there. There was a bar right across the street and on the corner. You know it?
Yeah.
Oh, can I get a fist bump? That's so cool. That's where my mom and my dad met. But he met her with his best friend, and he worked at the post office with my dad for like 20 years. So they used to do these, what are they called? Company picnic things. And they'd rent out these places in the mountains, and there'd be these things called maypoles. And I have no idea if there's like a segment of like Americana that people knew what they were doing. But I think it's a braid that people do, but I don't know what kind of material it would be that you're supposed to go out there. Is it like the flag material? Like it's like a polyester?
You
It's
know, all I know is this kids use, is there like, what, like a rope or something on a pole?
ropes, and
Yeah.
then and throw it all up.
And, yeah, and the kids used to go.
They're supposed to like intertwine in something, but it's also like Easter. Like we just had it or whatever, and then we lost the. I hate that all of these case stuff that was with me and my sister, it all has this like literal geographical like blockages because we're in Kentucky. We got Sister T, and she loved my grandma's eggplant, so that she would come over and stuff. But we would be doing our first Holy Communion like training, but we're out in a really rural area, and those states they allow corporal punishment, right? So they have a paddle, but it has the extra added holes in it, so that they're walking around with a recess 3 times a day. You get the lunch recess, but you get I would get a Mickey Mouse like ice cream thing, and then you can get these things that you put on the pencil, and then it puts your fingers in the right spots and stuff. And they were teaching cursive in 2nd grade, but here we didn't get it till 5th grade. So all these details and stuff in like mass amounts. I was at GameStop at Coors and Paseo del Norte, and my customer service was at a, like, I try to tell you, want to put extra money on a game that's going to come out in months that you're not going to forget about because they're going to come in and see us, and we're going to have your trading in and stuff like that. But my own like addictions, because I was saving up money just to leave to go visit my fiance, which you're not supposed to date the exchange students. So that's why I was taking people around to try to show the pictures real quick, but I don't think I got to that segment. Flip on the light. But her name is Natsuko Umino. So basically she was from Japan, and out of all the different states she got to pick here. And then basically the whole mess up with like prom and stuff like that, that was all when we went to film class.
Where'd you meet her?
Art class. So basically my stepdad, he was the guy that owned both stores at Windrock and Coronado called Earth Shoe and Earth Origins. So if you guys ever went to the malls, and it was a shop, and it would have women's dresses for spring, they have spaghetti straps mainly, I guess. So they were always a lot of dresses on just one display or something. But you couldn't hide in them. And I used to like to go to the other stores and hide in the middle because there's the little, like you know, all the hangers and stuff like that. There's like a little center spot. So if you ever lose a kid in a shop or something, that's where you can look, because it's like a little place. And you can fall asleep and stuff. I remember there were like shops that we could just go in at Windrock and Coronado. And I could stay there for hours or whatever. And then my stepdad showed me the plan for the tilt, which was going to open, and it was going to have a carousel inside of it. So like he used to take me to get like a slice of pizza or something. But he'd be running a shop, and they had like special shoes, like moccasins, were really like trendy or something in the 80s. He had another store in Dallas, Texas, and that's where he had the key, the spare key. And when reaching out to ask people for help in this last 2 years, that's when like the details were like searching for the details. Like if you guys are like with health services and you find a kid and the kid's been in a trunk, those time frames might be really bad. Like in Texas, the heat's a little bit different. So me and my sister getting out of the trunk, it was the police there, and that was the recent like fines of like having in 2019 calling the cops and all the stuff. It was 2017. We were still with my dad's family therapist. So with film, me and my dad were in film class. My mom was in film class too, but she got into term right after us. Monique had hit her glasses, and it popped the thing to hit her socket and give her a black eye. Mom's job was at the UNM. Our cousin here, Liz, she was at UNM in a different place too. So Elliot, he had a house over here, but they all worked with UNM at times and stuff like that. So one of the things is after a certain time that you get to work with UNM, you get to go to classes for free. Mom was fired because their coworkers in her office were having like a romantic tryst or something like that. So then they came up with an excuse to say that Mom got approval to get work to take at home, because it was picture taking that they used to take, but they had like some like paperwork stuff and administrative. So she was going to do it at home while her eyeball, like, because she has to take pictures for people at UNM, and then it would look better later, or not put people off when they're having to get together. But they let her go, and that's where when my dad was in class, and I was already trying to promote her to get into class with us, because that would have been really cool, because we just done that for Star Wars, The Phantom Menace.
Oh, I don't know where to
You're
ask
not
you
warming
something.
up either.
I know.
It's
I
warmer
will.
over there.
Yeah, my son
It is.
Ivan,
You're checking
I
if I'm
heard you
okay.
had this question about this medication, whether you've got the
Well, there's tons of
dosages.
different medications that they've been offering along the way that I have to keep
Yeah.
track of all this type of stuff. But when I try to go get a pencil or something like that before,
Well,
nobody waited around or anything like that. And it's like 5 different times that you guys can come by and stuff like that. And it's really appreciated if you guys are actually trying to help out. But if I didn't get in contact with you guys in the first place, if it was because getting other people upset or something like that, and the cops were pressing charges for me calling the cops
Oh,
to
yeah.
try
Do
to
you
get.
have our number?
No, I don't know who I'm supposed to be
You
in
can
contact
call us.
with.
You
But
can
when
call
I
us.
called the first time, they hung up on me.
Wow.
It was after you guys first visited, and that's when I started yelling at you guys the second time, and that's when I was recording stuff and then
Okay.
posting it as soon as
Okay.
I got right. So it's so weird. It's May, right? It's my birthday's month, and then sometimes
Oh.
in this month in Albuquerque, when I was younger, it would snow a little bit up by the foothills because my family here. My mom, she had us back into Harris after the whole thing in Texas. But that police report as first grade through 12th grade, that's where the Social Security application with my dad was failing from 2011 to 2012, but I had that paperwork packet. So I was trying to do that work here. That's where all the stuff got
Ivan, if
piled
you
down.
don't- Ivan,
Dad.
if you don't mind if I ask you again, I think the last medication you got, you were wondering about the dosage.
Right, no. They were saying that there was going to be 2 of them, and that was Mohammed.
Oh.
Yeah.
And so
the one
basically
peanut.
Mohammed left, and then the other 2 aren't available. So basically, the situation, if I had a history with the care coordinator, that was probably the idealist person to get all of the different medications, because if my general practitioner had
Do you
wanted
need help?
my general
getting-
practitioner
Do you
or
need
the
help? Do you need help with someone to help you to get those medications in order, so we know exactly what you're taking, why you're taking them, and how much you're supposed to be taking?
Right,
Will
so-
that be helpful for you though?
But like, are you guys fully like holistic sciences and
I
stuff like
believe
that?
in that myself.
Here-
Everybody does.
Here
It's
in
different.
New Mexico, there's supposed to be some kind of like school system that people come from all over the world to go to that school, but they learn like stuff like
Different things.
you're supposed to build an Orno, the oven thing.
Yeah.
And then you burn things to the point that they no longer exist, and then that has like a certain like substances to it for other things, and there's like a bunch of different like. But with medical marijuana, with post-traumatic stress disorder, and civilians not being military and stuff like that, you guys might know what my mom was talking about with a service animal being $20,000 or something like that. But if you train them, or you train the person to be able to actually have the animal available, it would be a very ideal situation. My dad's
Yes.
killed the grass over here, but we have a well over here by these rocks, and then underneath this carport there's a well there. So then even fixing this thingy, it's like where it goes to empty out. Simple things like that where people aren't able to maintain and function even with like COVID. You guys aren't like masking up and stuff
Yeah.
like that, but it's still like there might be a variant that's always out there, like the common cold or something.
Ivan, let me just ask you this.
I had to look up.
So those medications that,
I have a
Muhammad-
heart thingy.
Yeah.
My general practitioner had started it off in the 2000s. So we were doing some blood tests and stuff
Uh-huh.
like that. And then my dad kind of tapered down doing any of the notes because now his default to like fall apart and everything like that has been so much questionable. The whole car thing, the way that it's been starving me.
Ivan, I gotta ask you, so those medications from Muhammad, have you been taking them?
Well, that's kind of like, if you had been curious about that enough,
Uh-huh.
like,
Yeah.
how did you guys get my information? How did you get any conclusion that the medications were needed in the first place?
Well, because we live with Muhammad's been out.
But he's not here right now to answer any of the questions.
Yeah, okay, I understand.
But
I
what
understand.
has the situation been this entire time if it hasn't been explained clearly enough from you guys? If I originally tried to get in contact with anybody with an authority to help with my situation for the last 5 years, my grandma is no longer here, but her as a witness for those 3 different cases of me disappearing or getting assaulted or having my sister being hurt. Is that a dog or a cat? It's a little tiny fuzzy thing that's going behind the tree root. Or,
It's a little dog, that little black and white one. No, it's a cat. Wait, I don't know.
Calico, like maybe
black
brown,
and white,
brown
right?
and white, brown, white, and black. Well, like a spot on one spot.
It's a little dog.
Okay. There used to be an old grandma cat and a bunch of little kittens and stuff, and then all their ears got cut.
Oh, God.
I don't get to come outside that often, and it's been
Oh,
really
you should.
it's been really bright lately, but now it's really
You know
overcast,
what,
which nice.
Ivan, you need sunshine.
Oh yeah, it's a vitamin D
Yes.
deficiency.
All you have to do is get your chair when it warms up. Put it out. You know what? When I stepped out of the car,
but you might
know what
you
I
might
felt.
be
No, let me finish. When I got out of the car, you know what I felt like? I was in the mountains because of your
yeah.
trees. It's so
Yeah,
awesome.
you got a
And the
beautiful,
pine cones.
you have a beautiful
I said, man, I
place.
could just sit out here and
The
just
sea-
relax.
the seeds get to flood it, and
Well,
then
it's not flooded now.
even last night it was just
yeah,
even
like,
like
oh yeah,
half a
it
minute.
did rain. Did you hear the thunder and the lightning?
It's only for a second though, and
But
it's
it
nice
was
when it floods so
nice.
much that it actually causes. Well, it used to
Oh,
be
that's why
actually
you-
fixed, and
that's
that's
why
when
you-
my dad actually.
Maybe we can.
Well,
that
it's
could
my
be a-
dad.
or
My
maybe
dad
that's
has a
project we
limit
can
to
do.
the things that he's been interested in ever really being. Like the basketball court here, it has me and my grandpa and my sister's little initials written on
Aw.
the cement.
I
But
did
it's
that.
because my dad wouldn't want to practice like playing catch
Yeah.
or teach me how to ride a bike. Those are only specific moments, specifically because these cases were my mom's parents returning us from Kentucky was 1988. So the date that's scraped into the concrete, that's right before the Ninja Turtles movie
What?
came out,
That was in
89.
89.
Ivan,
My
look at
grandson.
those trees. You were telling us about those. Look how
The-
they've grown so much
Yeah,
since.
the thing
we were
is
here.
they create a poison that kills other plants
It
around
does.
them.
It does.
It's called like something else, but they call it like a Jesus plant or
I
something
think it's a
because
Joshua tree. I heard.
and like they're invasive.
Yeah, they
and
are.
Like,
They should pull them
the
out.
other thing is the catfish. Apparently, it's a fish that's evasive or something.
Mm-hmm.
I like to hear that there's like some kind of solutions with other different types of things, and if you could steal that idea and use it with different
Yeah.
other. So the thing about the rough drafting, like my mom and my dad's situation.
Yeah.
Oh, it's changing up. What I'm a little bit more used to.
The dark.
I think you asked about sunglasses.
Yeah.
So like,
good
did you
idea.
did you actually find? Here it's better because it tones down a little bit each
Yeah.
little segment under. But the idea was like maybe there's a mosquito net at like the dollar store,
Uh-huh.
and then weight it at the base.
Yeah, they are. They sell those.
But what happens is this is where the puddle comes first. but the whole trench was supposed to be fed out into like the design of the thing there. But yeah, my grandpa doing every single little piece. It was my dad that was always like, don't knock it till you'll try it and stuff like that. And like even those railroad ties over there, they are impossible to do on your own. You need a,
Oh, those are heavy.
you have to do a thingy thing.
You can't get that stuff on you.
But you can get the Harbor Freight is one of the coolest things if you never had that one growing up or whatever. But the thing with like tech and stuff like that, I could put it at least for audio purposes at least, so that at least I have a record of you guys showing up. And I'm trying to ask like certain types of help. Oh, it's so sad here.
Do you want our number then?
That house. Oh yeah, I don't have anything to write with, and I've lost access to like getting stuff really close. But that used to be.
We're kind of running short. We got to get back to the office.
But you guys get paid, right?
Yeah.
It's
But
not like you're
we wanted
volunteering
to
or
stop
anything.
by and say hi to your dad for a minute.
That sounds mighty awesome and everything like that. But yeah, all the medications and stuff like that are awesome. But there's dog purpose to like jump up on face to go to like school and stuff like
But if
that.
you need help or you have questions about the medications, that's why I can leave you that number so you can ask Muhammad yourself.
Is it still on just like the internet and stuff like
It's on
that?
First Nations.
Like just the term, is it a thingy that's state by state in every other state?
No.
Or you guys are just in New Mexico's?
Just in New
Yeah.
Mexico.
How many different like 77
There's one
counties?
in Gallup. There's
Gallup.
one in Gallup. There's one in Farmington.
A Shiprock?
Farmington.
I don't know about
Shiprock.
Shiprock.
Oh,
I'm like very like non-geographically great, but if you guys have like been from other different areas and stuff like that, the things in Albuquerque here, this used to be called Dead Man's Curve because
Yeah,
it
I
was
remember
before
that.
the.
I
Oh really?
remember that.
Oh cool.
yeah, sure. I remember that.
Because the interstate didn't exist, and I
I
think
know
I
it.
try to give you guys like the David
Yeah,
Bowie
that,
like.
when you come right around this little boulevard and go around that.
And a car got wedged in there and blew up or something like that. And then like, so certain aspects of being able to reach out to like the news for help with information. Our cousin was only 15, but our perspective as little kids, the dog was huge, right? So you're gonna go inside there and you're gonna see these like photos and stuff like that.
You showed us
I
those.
needed help to get that information back in like 2009 for a school project.
Ivan, we better see if your dad's in. 'cause
But he was not feeding yesterday, and then he said he canceled out the food boxes that they had been setting up. Well, it was
We'll
set
ask
up
him
at the
about it.
beginning of lockdown, but I don't know if he
I'm
was
gonna go
giving.
knock on the door.
I don't know if he was giving away the boxes from November of 2020 all the way with my cousins.
Well, I think they stopped the food boxes everywhere. That's
But
just
it was
because they think
the.
everybody's okay. You know.
The storehouse was set up with this
Yeah.
other organization, so that's what I was fearing.
Maybe through that storehouse.
Right, because that was where they were driving it here, and basically with my mom not wanting to help and give extra information and stuff like that, my dad not wanting to help with like what the cops were showing up here and starting off with. If that's the HIPAA stuff at the first, because he's trying to get them to think that I'm exactly like my sister. My sister's not here to show her side of the situation. She's not able to articulate as best as I might be trying to
No, you're
articulate
very
in a
articulate
different
and
way.
you're very knowledgeable about things.
Well,
You
I've
know
been
what
working
caught-
hard.
You know what caught me last time was when you mentioned Lex Luthor,
Which one?
and you talked
Gene
about
Hackman.
yes, and when I was like, that just happened, and how does he know about it? The reason I caught on right away is because my son is the same way like you are.
Oh, I'm
when
so
it
sick.
when it comes to movies, their scripts, what they said, what year it was, who they are, he knows all that. And
It's
I'm like,
stupid. I don't know where it comes from.
And you said you worked at GameStop.
Yeah.
Guess who likes to shop there?
Well,
My
it's-
son.
it's an
and
addiction,
My
yeah.
grandson. They go there to get little games and they get their stuff.
And then for Christmas, you
He's
know exactly
30
what to
he's
get.
35. Yeah, I do.
I've got tons of it here
Right on. I know exactly.
Well, no, the thing is the dumpster diving is when I started working at the place, it was
Did he
called.
answer? No.
No, he's not answered.
It's
You know
called
what?
Field Destroy. Try his
Oh.
if you need to talk to him later.
Yeah.
Do the phony phones.
let me
But
try.
yeah, the pulling in and stuff like that. Just be careful. I have a problem when I back up with stuff, so I couldn't do my forklift test at PetSmart But if the gates are open and stuff like that, and his car's not there, I guess it's the whole loop-the-loop idea. I've
yeah.
never done it, but I used to drive and stuff like that. So, do you guys have like people that come to the office rather than to pull you out? Because you've been,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
been really nice. You've been,
You can come
it's been
see us
nice to see you
anytime.
guys here,
Hey.
but I don't go out. I haven't been out since
It's been great to see
2019.
you. We're so happy to see you
So,
today.
thanks
Okay.
again for coming by. I'm sorry
Okay.
that I haven't had a lot of human contact, but I do appreciate that you guys do the knuckle
Okay.
bumping
Do
thing.
you need to do you need
You
me
know.
to bring any stuff? Because I'm the case manager. I'm the one that does services. I don't know a lot about all the medical management, the medication. I mean,
I just was
But
emailing
if
like
you
a
need
private
clothes,
investigator.
If you need shoes, if you need something like that.
My
glasses,
my dad needs more help to
No,
get any
I'm
kind of
asking you-
aspects.
I'm asking you.
I'm not worried as much
Magazines,
because
books, markers,
the
something to draw.
the situation is that if you were stuck at trying to get a report done
Yeah.
and you needed to get note cards or
Little note cards.
C47s, there's one right there.
I don't know what that is.
It's the term on a movie set for one of the clothespins. You
Oh,
hook them to lights.
okay. All right, we
I'm
better
sorry.
get going.
So the phone number, and then they should be by my name. They would be able to find my case. It might be muddy areas too. Do you guys like Coca-Cola? Yes. Would you like any to take to the office?
Well, thank you. I'm so sweet. You're
Well, no,
so nice.
he got a bunch of them, and then he goes and gets them. So I think most of my food stamps goes to like that helps out and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
But all those resources that started being used because of COVID, like using like a video screen,
Yeah.
they have like a checklist of how to integrate that into people that don't have the mental capacity. There's something like ARCA.
Oh, yeah.
If there's things that you guys do, and it's Mary,
Here.
and then it's with a C.
Deborah.
No,
It's a D.
So I might forget faces and names and stuff like that. And then,
And that's Mohammed. He's the one that does the medication.
yeah, that one I was getting a little bit more worried about.
So I
because
put
it's
questions on
vulnerable
meds.
now.
So now you can just call him and say, hey, Mohammed, this is Ivan. I need to know
And ask him about the
whatever questions you have on the
The
medication.
medical marijuana stuff, do you
That's
guys
good.
know a little bit more about like growing it at home rather than, well, what it would be is to get non-THC, it's the CBD stuff
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
the pain
Yeah.
thingy,
Yeah.
so they might not sell it as much as in the stores because you have to make like special requests. And one of the things in Canada is that you can tell them like, can you grow this? And they'll say like, yeah, and then you just get what you need from your grower, but they will sell it the rest of their lives because you can't go through it all. Not
You
doing
know
it.
a lot of stuff.
I know.
I
That's why I
know.
said you need to be out here and writing all
Well,
that
you guys are
stuff.
part of a nonprofit, right?
Yeah.
Have you heard about sister cities and twin towns?
Yeah.
So you can go to another country.
Yeah.
Have you heard about like if you had a job at Outback, you could go to the Hawaii branch of the Outback and work as an employee there? No. Any corporation that you have the possibility to actually like, work.
good standing, right?
Well, that was the whole thing that GameStop because of the bookstores, Barnes and Noble. So you take your paycheck in and they can use the employee ID off the pay stuff.
Oh.
And that's when I used to take like copies of all the.
Did you get a discount over there?
Well, it was Harry Potter. It's still there. I thought they were cutting the tree down, but they were putting a fence adapting. But see how this one is just going wild that way. It's like the.
I better get going. We'll see you, Ivan, but have
Good job, and all that stuff. And I just hope that none of this stuff would be anything supposed to be taking it because it's not representing the rights of getting those recorded as soon as possible. But using anything as an example, that's where the film classics don't just, shoot the light or whatever, and it might not work. So that's why I'm bringing the. Have you gone to Facebook yet?
I have.
Have you watched on Facebook? You could find my images on the
Under what?
Album, and then the photos, the folders, and then there's video, and it shouldn't be, it's just like this, but it shouldn't be like, if you want me to take it down, I can take it down, whatever. And I don't know if it's properly like dated or whatever, so it's just all mixed up. I'm sorry. Thank you for visiting. Oh yeah, the call with Dad. Sorry. I'm sorry, I just got this phone number. If it's possible to ask help with trying to contact Mohammed Abubakar.
Yes, who's coming?
This is Ivan. My name is Ivan.
Yes, Ivan, how are you?
I am okay, kinda. I just got visited by the Mary and Deborah. If I'm forgetting the names, I'm sorry.
You got it right. You are right.
And
You didn't forget.
I need to try to get a pencil or something, but I was trying to find the way to write down the names of the other medication because my dad showed up with one and I can't remember the name of it right now. I don't know where the bag is. I'm sorry.
No problem.
Can I ask just maybe spelling, because they might not have ever been offered before, but I might have had others in the history. My dad had a care coordinator that might have tried to contact during lockdown, but it's been a lot over the last five years, I guess, to get a lot mixed up. But I do appreciate you guys. The medication, it just was that there was a heart medication too. My general practitioner, the care coordinator, might have seen enough of that one medication so that the concern of needing to like stay on one and jump onto another, I think with whatever practices are like in practice, that there might be certain precautions to what the general practitioner might want. it's no disrespect to what you were able to come up with in the diagnosis or whatever, but I apologize for the whole get-go of stuff. You were trying to say that there was 2 of them, and I think that I always like jump to conclusions, but you guys kind of left by the time I was like stumbling back. And that was the thing with trying to talk to you more, because you were a guy. I didn't want it to seem sexist or something, but on the phone it just seems a little easier to maybe try to hope that the phone doesn't disconnect. But I do appreciate if you have the time. I don't know if you're like rushed or anything, if this is a good time.
Yeah, I can call you back actually. I'm right now.
Oh, that's
Or
perfect.
you wanna call me? Yeah, if you want to call me back on Monday.
That's
that
sad.
would be great.
This is the weekend, yeah. That's like 3 days away. But I do appreciate if it's just
But the name of the medication is Haldol.
HADOL. Was there another one?
That's the only one you're taking for now.
I thought you were trying to suggest 2 when you were here the other day. One that might have started with an N or a C. I could hardly remember, but I think it was recorded, I guess.
No, it's just only one for now. You know. So probably down the line we may have another one, but for now it's only one we want you to start with.
But even if I was in full compliance to complain about any of the situation, that you guys had to be put on my case, because my request was in regards to reporting kids' cases here and the abuse done by my father. If my dad was just in a car accident and you guys saw my dad getting in that car accident, the evidence of your coworkers seeing the damage to my dad's vehicle in that situation that I'm not even involved in whatsoever, and any concern to report cases for abuse or neglect for any of my... Right, but apparently I'm trying to report these things and people are making jump conclusions to diagnose, to actually prescribe drugs, and then that you're not concerned at all that I record any interactions with you guys and I post it on Facebook. But 3 days to have any contact, to contact a phone number that they gave me to contact here and contact you guys. Do you have a supervisor, Mohammed, that supervises what you guys do in the office? Do they have a phone number?
Yeah, the same phone number you call is the same number.
This number went directly to you, so you answered.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
is there a different number? Because I got this number from the 2 that visited today.
Let me give it to you. You want to write it down?
I'm ready.
505
Okay.
262
Okay.
6520.
Okay. Who am I supposed to talk to as a supervisor?
Mohammed. Or you want to speak to supervisor? You can. If you want to speak to supervisor, I can transfer you or you call.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Okay?
Yeah, I still appreciate you, Mohammed, and I was really hoping to try to work with you as much as possible, but I didn't want to offend you in any way possible. But there has been some offenses.
Not at all. You're not offending me.
I think if anybody did this to you, you would probably want to try to uphold your own rights and your own family's, constitutional rights, if there were your rights to uphold. But it's a great example. I appreciate you. Am I getting transferred?
No, you're not. You're with me. I'm with you.
Were you going to be able to transfer my call? Because I thought that was the whole etiquette here
Who do
on
you
the
want me
phone.
to transfer you to?
Your supervisor, dude. You gave me the phone number. I asked who was I supposed to talk to.
Okay, so you have to call that same number and ask for the supervisor. That's
This
what
just up in general,
Okay,
Mohammed. You
yeah.
don't know who your supervisor is, but you're just saying that you could
No, I know.
transfer.
Oh, the name. Okay, the name is Samantha.
Samantha? Would it be Samantha Groves?
Just as for Samantha, is only one Samantha.
Well, so do they have a last name?
Hello?
Did they have a last name?
Are you there?
Did they have a last name, Mohammed? Oh, okay. But I'll just try that number. I'm sorry about asking if it could be transferred. But you're only saying now that it's only Haldol. But on the visit that you had before, you were trying to give me two different names. But when I walked in to try to go get something to write with, by the time I got back, you guys had already left when you had visited.
When was that?
That was when I recorded it and posted it last on the Facebook page. It's DINGUS321 on Facebook. And then I guess I might have backed it up on the YouTube. But nobody goes to it because I unfriended everybody. So it's just like an archive to throw up stuff in case I forget stuff.
Let me quickly see this patient. We can talk later. I have somebody waiting for me right now. Do you mind?
Well, no, I was given this number to call, but you guys have been causing some
What's the number?
offenses.
Go ahead.
I'll call them. I'll call your supervisor. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Hi, I was given this phone number by Mohammed to try to contact. Hi, I was given this number by Mohammed with First Nations to try to contact Samantha.
Hello?
Hi, I was given this phone number by Mohammed to try to contact Samantha at First Nations.
Okay, let me transfer you to the correct extension, okay?
Sorry, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for calling First Nations. This is Claudia. How can I help you?
Hi, I was given the number to call Samantha with First Nations from Mohammed, that would be a supervisor for Mohammed, I guess.
Okay, you were calling off. What was that again?
I was calling a number that I was given by Mohammed to Samantha, a supervisor with First Nations, an organization in Albuquerque.
Yes, Samantha is out on sick leave and won't be back until the first week of June.
Oh, that's like 3 weeks or so for...
Yes. You're calling regarding Mohammed, or you just calling to talk to Samantha about Mohammed, or what is it about?
Well, it would be HIPAA law and why the nonprofit was ever directed to help in a case if it wasn't asked originally.
Yeah, so you would have to call when she's back. It will the first week of June.
Even if the case has already gone to court.
So you're calling after. I can't really hear you.
Even if the course, it's already gone to the court. The court, the Bernalillo courts.
If what I could do is get your information, and then as soon as my supervisor's here, she could address it.
Well, that's the thing, is how did you guys get any contact to help with my case if I can't find who would have made the request in the first place? If that supervisor isn't available and that in person is giving diagnoses of a situation, like that makes it more complicated.
If you want to give me your information, I can give your information to the CEO.
The CEO?
Yes.
Who would that be?
No, she is not in this one.
Oh, is that Samantha? Is that Samantha?
No, Samantha is the medical director.
Oh, wow, okay.
Linda will be the CEO.
I appreciate that. I apologize. It is nice that you guys help out in the community, but if there are certain mistakes by trying to reach out for help but not finding anybody offering that help, when a situation is that you guys are assigned to different cases, is that the possibility? Like sometimes you guys are assigned by court to cases?
We sometimes, yes, they have to come, we have to have a referral.
Yeah. Adult Protective Services, do you work with that organization too? Because I tried to make contact with them multiple times, and it was supposed to be, I thought, that they would get back to in some form or fashion, but I've been isolated by my father and maybe other family members from being able to report cases for underage kids for the last few decades. These cases weren't getting any kind of attention, and then all of a sudden before lockdown, these types of things, I guess, came up more. But if your organization has been in running for decades, the possibility that the older cases might have already come through your doorways, like in over people's desks, and even when those cases were coming up as a class action suit for 350 victims to actually go to court during lockdown, did any of those cases come across your desk in the last 5 years to be added to the 394 cases that they ended up with? Because they had these payouts of like 250 million and 150 million. So any kind of like added like boost to ask for help. They have these things with the police department and the sheriffs, I think, to ask extra help on movie sets. It's called the overtime chief. So like even if that existed for certain nonprofits to say a civilian's family's cases needed the extra help, that maybe head damage was part of the case's history, that all of the diagnoses and stuff that you guys would be able to do with all of the records that were needed to get in the first place for underage kids cases, it would help to get the better medication first rather than something that might cause heart complications at a late form in life. For other cases, it might work if it was like bipolar schizophrenia. But if it was trying to report accurately children's cases around churches, community centers, or public school kidnappings, those types of underage kid cases where kids didn't know how to read or write, that's the type of cases that my family had to deal with. But luckily, you guys came by my home a few different times with the First Nations to try to help out maybe. I don't know how you guys started to help in the first place, if that was by calling 911 and then getting charges pressed against me for calling 911 to report kids' cases. So I don't know if you as a person kind of understand that it's hard to explain, but I do appreciate that you guys might have like specialists and stuff like that, but you might have like a listing of like hundreds of different phone numbers. If you're just one nonprofit in the state of New Mexico, it might be that there's tons of different like counties that you guys are looking out after. And you deal with like a lot of homeless people, so you have a lot of people that specialize in people that are talking about like alien abduction or delusions of grandeur that apply to certain conditions like schizophrenia or narcissistic or sociopathic or any of those types of terms and stuff like that. I apologize that you guys are in a lot of like harm's way with like a lot of like extreme cases too. But with the police department, trying to get them to help with police reports if the schools are involved already from like a knife incident, a little kid drawing a knife on another kid, and the principal reports that. So that might be a record like the prosecutor's office might actually get access to. But if they don't share that with the family and they're having to get a defense lawyer or something, you guys might have access to finding who that lawyer was.
Like I said, I am just front desk. I will pass along your information to you and people get a hold of you, okay?
In June, that's kind of depressing.
No, the CEO will be different. Samantha Madrid won't be back until June, but I'll turn it into the CEO.
But you guys...
She is in office, but she's in meetings right now, so I can't.
That's cool.
But as soon as she's done, I will give her your information, and then she'll give you a call back, okay?
You're awesome, because you guys might take on 1,000 different types of cases, and if it falls under your guys' type of thing for these, like, old school cases, I do appreciate that you guys are trying to get the right types of medication to the right types of people that need it. My older sister might be in harm's way because they haven't been applying any of the reports that were needed for our juvenile cases. But now as an adult, being able to put anything together, I'm trying to articulate everything. So I really appreciate the what you guys have done in the field. You've been able to actually go out to the location that I'm at. I've been kind of isolated through lockdown. So I want to say like gold stars for like everything. It's just our case needs a little bit extra like precaution before taking a drug that might not be kosher with my heart problems already, with my head damage, if my head doesn't pump right, you know. It's kind of difficult to kind of argue. I've been trying to get help with getting my head scanning approved by my doctor, but it was needing the police department to back up the reports from the public school, and getting the public school to say they knew my head was cracked open on the playground, and they dragged me to the nurse's office. So just the simplest part of it dragged out for 5 years trying to find help. And if you guys are trying to like just label it as bipolar schizophrenia, there's my older sister as a better example of what you would textbook say is bipolar. But for my situation, I'm just having different issues with post-traumatic stress disorder. And if anything kind of looks like other stuff, then I need just that help to get the, I don't know, it's the makeover or something like that, that rehab is, that people go through. My mom and my dad might need some rehab. It's like mediation and accountability and advocacy, that advocacy stuff. So like if all of these victims get to like pay it forward to you guys, if you guys need like extra like help for like security reasons, or you want vacations or stuff like that, it would be really awesome to kind of like say that kind of appreciation, like a discount to Disneyland once a month trips for different people. If you guys have been going for so long and taking on stress every single day, like a bunch of other people out there, like the fire department or the police department, they all might be applicable, because as a big group, Disney like might want to give a discount if that group goes like in groups of like 20 or something once a month, and in like different times of the year. But there's millions of dollars with all of these kid cases that were coming forward, and if there was a way to kind of like use them rather than like hide them, because apparently they're sealed and stuff like that. But apparently when I've been reaching out for help for the last few years, I've been kind of giving up my anonymity for all of these law firms that I've been cold calling, and then I put it to the Facebook and started direct messages. So then if I can copy and paste those direct messages and just post them in public, so at least I don't forget about them, because I might have head injuries and forget about all the work that I did reaching out to try to find help reporting these cases, because I can't write. You know, how do you report a kid's case? Like by asking like nonprofits, if you even deal with any of these types of cases in communities, you might deal with people with mental disorders or homelessness. So I really appreciate that you take on a lot of things, even as like an administrative assistant. If it's just the front desk or whatever, it might not be recorded or something like that. So I do appreciate that this has all been really hard to think that maybe it's not being heard the entire time because the cell phone might break up and stuff like that. But if there was a lack of me not giving my phone number, it's just precaution, because it might not make it through. And I don't know a better way, if maybe an email along with it, because if I don't get contact from the phone, it's not your guys' fault. It's maybe the signal not getting to the smartphone, and the landline isn't able to get fixed because there's so much garbage. And that was really stupid, but maybe you guys do have like a garbage contingency, somebody that helps get the like a big garbage container to recycle all the aluminum to save money and get that to the, you know, the aluminum recycling thing, because that's like a good like takeout meal or whatever. But some of the boxes can't go in the recycling, so they have to go to the trash. But just being able to get that organized and stuff at home. My dad's like falling apart, but he's saying that he's going to start like the water therapy. Like it's supposed to be like low impact, so he could lose some weight and start like carrying his own weight, because he's been overweight. And my mom, her head injury, it made my dad find her, and they took her to the hospital. They couldn't do any surgery on her skull, so they had to monitor her skull. But they could put a bolt screws and stuff in a metal plate in her arm, because she had broken her arm when she fell. But she didn't remember how she had hurt herself. But my dad was dropped out of film class, so he visited her at her apartment, and he found her, so he got her to the hospital. So then she started seeing a doctor, but that doctor had to leave and go practice up in New England. But they might have moved their practice back here to New Mexico. So it's kind of like overstepping, because it wasn't assigned by like my cases ever coming up. But my mom invited me to her head injury class, and then they gave me an opportunity to stand up and tell things I remember from my little childhood or whatever. But I didn't apply anything until figuring out the injury at the community center. It was therapy that went through social security applications, doing everything with the post-traumatic stress disorder, from GameStop, getting kidnapped and robbed. It went straight to if I had post-traumatic stress disorder as a civilian. We only were recently in the 2000s learning about it from people coming back from the war for the weapons of mass destruction after 9/11. So I couldn't sign up for the military twice in high school when I tried with the recruiters, because I got to the computer test and they were finding that I wasn't able to finish the computer test. And I didn't realize that that was one of the things maybe that my cognitive skills aren't keeping up proper, and I never was getting the special education from first grade all the way to 12th grade. And there might be records showing all these different things, but it's now in hindsight because of lockdown, because it was just being found out about right before everybody got shut in. So I haven't been going outside since like February to August of 2020. And then you guys are stopping by and you have no masks on. And then I'm worried if it's HIPAA law, if somebody told you details about my condition, that I didn't reach out to you guys. But I really appreciate that you guys are trying to help. It's just like, when do I get to ask, are you guys like helping?
Okay, hello?
Yes.
Okay. I already have found someone that is going to help you. Let me transfer you that way, okay?
I love you. You are super awesome. I meant that, like,
You're welcome.
you're
No
awesome.
problem.
Sorry, thank you. Thank you.
Uh-huh. Thank you for calling First Nation. Can you please hold?
Yes, I can.
Thank you.
You're
How
okay.
can I help you?
I was transferred from trying to call. They said it was Samantha was on
I'm
leave.
I'm I'm having a hard time.
Are you there? Hello?